Worldwide shock. Princess Leonor de Bourbon's royal romance exposed today. Everyone thought they knew Princess Leonor. Future queen. Disciplined. Protected. But today, everything changes. A romance no one expected. A truth no one was supposed to see. And the real shock. It didn't begin where you think. It began where no one was looking. For years, the world watched Princess Leonor de Bourbon grow from a quiet, reserved royal child into a poised, thoughtful young woman preparing for the unimaginable responsibility of becoming Spain's future queen. Her life appeared perfectly choreographed: ceremonies, education, military training, public appearances, discreet smiles. But beneath the polished royal exterior, there were whispers, subtle glances, protective gestures, and a mystery that Spain never quite understood. Until today. Because the story unfolding right now doesn't come from a palace announcement, a press release, or an official statement. It comes from something far more human, far more vulnerable, and far more shocking. A connection that blossomed quietly behind protocols, behind expectations, behind centuries of royal duty. At first, no one believed it. How could a young woman bound by so much responsibility find room for something as unpredictable as love? Especially at a time when every move she makes is analyzed by the public, by critics, by monarchists, and by those waiting for the monarchy to slip. But love, as always, does not ask permission. And it certainly does not respect royal boundaries. The first clues came from a moment most people dismissed as nothing. A brief exchange. A passing smile. A look between Princess Leonor and someone who was not supposed to be part of her story. A person outside the carefully approved royal circle. Someone with humble roots, a quiet presence, and a warmth that contrasted sharply with the cold structure of palace protocol. Someone who saw Leonor not as a princess, not as an heir, but as a young woman craving simplicity, authenticity, and trust. Soon, the whispers grew louder. Royal watchers noticed it first. A change in her expression during events. A softness that appeared whenever a certain topic arose. Advisors took note. The Queen observed. The King began asking questions. And the mystery deepened. Because every answer only opened the door to another question. Who was this person? How did they get close to her? And why was Leonor, Spain's future queen, suddenly behaving like someone carrying a secret? To understand the shock unfolding today, we must go back to the beginning. To the days when Leonor's life shifted away from childhood innocence and into the weight of royal destiny. Her studies at UWC Atlantic College in Wales opened her world. Surrounded by students from every background, every culture, every economic class, Leonor tasted freedom for the first time. And in that freedom, she discovered what it felt like to be seen beyond the crown. No titles, no cameras, no expectations, just life. During those years, she learned what friendship meant, what trust meant, what closeness could become when no one was watching. And it was during this transformative time that the seeds of her hidden romance were quietly planted. Not because she was searching for love, but because love found her. When she returned to Spain, the palace tightened its grip. Training became more intense. Public duties increased. Her life became even more structured. But the memory of someone who understood her beyond the throne never left her. And quietly, secretly, they remained in contact. This is where the story becomes even more compelling. Because the person at the center of this romance never sought publicity, influence, or royal favor. In fact, they tried to distance themselves when they realized the consequences. They understood the magnitude of falling in love with a future queen. They understood the scrutiny, the backlash, the expectations. But what they did not understand was how deeply Leonor had come to rely on them emotionally. They had become her safe place, the only world where she could exist without judgment. And Leonor, for the first time in her life, began making decisions not as a princess but as a young woman in love. But love in a royal family is never simple. Once the palace became aware of the connection, the situation grew tense. Advisors met behind closed doors. Whispered conversations filled the halls. Reports were written, reviewed, and hidden. The question dominating every discussion was simple and terrifying. Could this romance threaten the stability of the monarchy? One perspective argued yes. It could cause scandal, division, and political weaponization. Another perspective argued the opposite. that Leonor, by choosing someone real, relatable, and grounded, could modernize the monarchy in ways no policy ever could. Leonor's parents, King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, found themselves torn between duty and the happiness of their daughter. Queen Letizia, with her own past rooted outside royalty, understood more than anyone the struggle between love and crown. Felipe, raised within royal expectations, understood the dangers of breaking protocol. The tension grew subtly, quietly, until it could no longer be ignored. The royal household noticed changes in Leonor. She became more reflective, more determined, more willing to stand her ground. She was no longer the obedient heir who quietly accepted every obligation placed upon her shoulders. She was a young woman fighting to protect the one part of her life that belonged entirely to her. And then came the moment that changed everything. A private meeting, a conversation overheard, a gesture captured accidentally on camera by someone who didn't understand the magnitude of what they had witnessed. A single image, innocent at first glance, showing a closeness that raised more questions than answers. That image spread quietly at first, then rapidly, as journalists, royal watchers, and social media analysts realized they had stumbled upon a story that could disrupt years of royal stability. People demanded answers. Speculation exploded. Theories multiplied. Some assumed the mystery person must be a foreign royal. Others believed it was someone from her school years. Some insisted it must be a member of the military academy where Leonor had been training. But the truth was far more extraordinary. Because the person Leonor is connected to comes from a background that contradicts everything expected of a future queen's partner. A background that challenges tradition. A background that makes this romance both dangerous and revolutionary. As pressure intensified, Leonor reached a breaking point. For the first time in her life, she confronted her destiny not with obedience but with confidence. She expressed her feelings openly to her parents. She demanded the right to be heard, to be understood, to be respected as a human being, not just a royal heir. And in that moment, the world glimpsed a new kind of leadership emerging within her. Her parents listened. The palace reconsidered. Advisors recalculated. Because they realized something critical. A monarchy without humanity becomes hollow. A queen without love becomes distant. And a royal family that stifles emotion loses the very connection it needs to survive. The world's shock today is not merely about Leonor's romance being exposed. It's about the revelation of a royal future built not solely on protocol, but on authenticity. It's about a princess refusing to sacrifice her emotional truth in the name of decorum. It's about love navigating the complexities of tradition and duty. As the story continues to unfold, new questions arise, each one opening a fresh curiosity loop. Will the palace officially acknowledge the relationship? Will the public support or oppose this unprecedented love? Will Leonor's mystery partner remain hidden or eventually step into the light? Will this romance reshape the future of the Spanish monarchy? Each answer leads to a deeper question, and each question deepens the fascination of the world watching. One thing is clear: Princess Leonor is no longer just a symbol of the monarchy. She is a symbol of change. A symbol of courage. A symbol of a new generation refusing to sacrifice love for tradition. And today, the world witnesses the beginning of the most defining chapter of her life. The truth is out. The romance is real. And the shock has only just begun.